My favorite park here, overlooking this beautiful scenery. How's everyone doing today? It was pouring raining just about an hour ago, and now it's starting to clear up. I think the sun might even come out. Where's all my folks from across the pond? I'm only seeing 4 people here. What happened? Something I say? I need you folks to join me here on this Sunday early afternoon, February 5th. A lot of places have gotten some really, really cold weather. And that's Ray Kelly. Hey, buddy, how are you? Good to see you. Ray Kelly's down here, I think. Sergeant George Ishag, hello. Jim Bob Jim, love that. Jim Bob, you must be from the South. In case you forget your name, it's Jim Bob Jim. Lovebug 53, hello, good to see you. Stars above, hey, Bill. Good to see you. Candace Valcourt, happy Sunday. Alan Levine, good afternoon. Tegan, Ray Kelly, it's too windy to fly drones there. Cindy, hello, I'm here. Pamela White, look at all you guys popping into the show. Great to see you. So wonderful to see you on this Sunday afternoon. Willez Pony, I'm from Upper Pond, Supreme Commander. Willez, you're one of the only people that still calls me Supreme Commander. I love it. Thank you. The sisterhood of knowing you're enough. Hi, Bill. Did you think about the info coming from Zaina's mom? When did you believe it? Because it was focused on Zaina and Ethan. Talks to angels. Hey, she said she talks to angels. You know, I heard the lead singer from Guns N' Roses and Axl Rose. He was singing at Lisa Marie Presley's funeral. And man, did he lose his voice. He has no voice left. I don't know if that's over the years from screaming or whatever. Diane Krause, how are you? Good to see you. But he definitely has lost his voice. He was singing, when I look into your eyes and I see love can refrain. He was playing the piano and he was singing, and he just it's sad to hear it, because he could belt it out back in the day. You know, Guns N' Roses, even the name of that band implies strength, you know. 79 in the chat, 17 with a thumbs up. Good to see everyone here. It's now the sun is starting to come out, actually. So could it be, that's the weird thing about Florida. It could be the most horrendous day, and you wait an hour or two and all of a sudden the sun comes out and you're like, wow, we could salvage this day after all. So I got up. Ruth Ann Griffin, good to see you. Pauline Robb, Counting Crows, Talk to Angels, great song. Yeah, so I got up this morning and I got, I hope the wind's not picking up too much. You guys let me know if the sound is getting all crazy with the wind. Beach and Bills, Zoe 143, come up with a new name every day, that's for sure. Can you believe how beautiful it is here, though? I mean, I say it all the time, but it's, the couple of things that dictate whether or not I could do a show at a certain location. Lieutenant Peter Pranzo, good to see Lieutenant Pete. Harlem Raiders on the air. Steve McGarrett, hey Bill, we hear it, but it's okay. Okay, if it gets too windy, I'll have to change locations. But right now, I'm hoping that the wind will subside. And the wind cries Mary. You guys know who wrote that tune, right? Jimi Hendrix. Yep, Jimi Hendrix wrote that tune. Zoe 143, laughing out. Ray Kelly, please feature my murdered partner's case. No arrest. His 33rd anniversary of his murder is coming February. His name is Suffolk County Police Detective Dennis Ustinov. Good morning from Dunedin. Absolutely the best YouTube channel on the planet. Thank you, Alan. Foxy Dare, give us a song. Well, now I will, but we're early on here. I wanted to talk about, you know, Mike Geary and I covered the case the other night with Banfield, Ashley Banfield, talking about new information that they had from some folks that were sort of leaking information, because if they're really from the investigation, to leak information against the judge's gag order is contempt of court, and they could actually get arrested for that. So we were just sort of covering that and talking about, Mike and I, the case she described her sources as folks that were close to the investigation, not identified. And we spoke about, are these people close to the investigation? Guys, how's the connection? Is everyone, someone complained they're not getting a good connection? Is everyone hearing me okay? Give me a 1 if you guys could hear me pretty well. Give me a 1. And someone said they weren't, so I don't know if they're in the minority or in the majority here, but all right, Alan, all you guys, seems like people are hearing it pretty well. So it must be her her connection. Will Les Pony's got a 1. Steve McGarrett, the Bible group. Oof. I got people praying for me too, isn't that great? I got a whole Bible group. Peter Pranzo, 5x5. That's the old police department. Your radio is 5x5, loud and clear. Where's the sun? The sun is coming out. I mean, I could move a little bit because some people just moved close to me. So maybe I'll just move a little bit. I'm going to take a little move to the next location. And, well, I left my towel. I got to take the towel. But as you can see how beautiful it is here. Look at that. You look at the inlet. You see the inlet? The water's a little bit rough today. Not too bad, but a little bit rough. But just amazingly beautiful here, right? So, yeah, it's hard sometimes when you do a recording. People come near you and you really don't want them close by, but they have a right to be here just like me, you know. So beautiful, so beautiful. You know, where I'm from, where I was born and raised, well, not born, but I was born in Astoria, Queens, which now is one of the hottest neighborhoods in the city to get an apartment. It's second to almost to Manhattan as one of these. Well, there's probably expensive in New York City is first Manhattan, and then there's a place called Brooklyn Heights, and that overlooks the downtown of Manhattan. And there was a movie with Cher called Moonstruck years ago, and that was shot in Brooklyn Heights. And Brooklyn Heights is like a beautiful neighborhood, but mega bucks to live. And then there's all these other up and coming, I can't even say up and coming, they're there, these neighborhoods. One of them is Astoria, Queens. And Astoria, Queens, now the apartments there are ridiculous. So that's where I was born. And then at some point, my parents decided to move out to Long Island since they were going to have 4,000 kids. We had 8 kids in my family. I was third oldest. And they moved out to a town called Levittown, where we were not in the minority. There were people that had 10 kids, 9 kids, 12 kids. It was like one of those neighborhoods, I think, where all the Irish cops and firemen moved to. And that was Levittown. Well, Les Pony, you're finding that funny, huh? It happens to be funny, but it also happens to be true. I wonder if anyone has 8 kids anymore, 9 kids, 12 kids. Queens, New York makes me think of Coming to America. Love this movie. You're talking about Moonstruck with Cher. It was a pretty good movie, right? I don't watch movies that often, but I've seen all the old ones, you know, the great old ones. Steve McGarrett of Hawaii 5-0. My son has 7 kids, L-E-N-Z. Wow. These days, it just is, it's so, well, it was expensive back then, but now it's prohibitively expensive unless you're rich to have that many kids. It's just, you know, it's sort of ridiculous, you know. 143 in the chat, 53 with the thumbs up. I know some Catholics that still have huge families. Holly Golightly. Yeah, I don't know. It just is. It's tough. It's not just only from a financial standpoint of being able to support your kids and feed your kids and give them a home and everything. From the attention point of view, how do you give all those kids enough attention? You know, that's pretty hard to do. And then what happens is the older kids start raising the younger kids because the mom and the dad need a break, you know. I gotta know. Someone's asking where I am. I can't say where I am. you can guess, but Kim Allison, hi. Mary Michael, good to see you. We are the Cannonites cheerleaders. Well, thank you so much from all my cheerleaders, all my subs, all my fans, all my friends. Well, I really appreciate you guys. So yeah, getting back, I was thinking of doing a show this evening or early afternoon about, we spoke about what is the defense doing on the Idaho quadruple murder case, the Bryan Kohberger case, and what is the defense doing since they were given 6 months to investigate this case. Mormon families are often large, Pamela White. So we know what the defense is doing. They're trying to dig up anything that they can create doubt with. As we know, the prosecution has to present the case and convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. BARD, that was the acronym I used to use for my students. BARD, beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And that's how the prosecution has to prove the case. Now the defense, again, has to create doubt. So what we're also wondering, Canadian Cookie, good afternoon, good to see you, Canadian Cookie. 164 in the chat, 71 with the thumbs up. Guys, if you like Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, and just recently added Beachin' with Bill, then please go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell, and pass us on to your friends, family, and countrymen. What's that? Friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ear. Lovebug53 just got her coffee. Ray Kelly, I'll look into that Worcesterhoff case. I know it's old. It's the Suffolk County police officer. I'll take a look at it. A lot of folks have asked us to look at the Gilgo Beach murders, the Long Island serial killer, and I believe that the police probably know or have a suspect in that case, and the suspect could very well be in prison for another. Burles Pony, Bard, Supreme Commander, you are a great teacher using acronyms. That's how when I used to study, I would try to memorize acronyms so that I could, Lonesome Ridge, LISC, they refer to it, Long Island serial killer. There's another acronym. But I really truly believe in that LISC case. I think the police know or have a suspect buddy who is in prison for other murders. And because they don't have DNA, and because this very suspect lawyered up very early and refused to talk, unless they get physical evidence that pins him to it, it very well could remain unsolved. Charisma, thank you for the $2 super chat. I love that little meme you have there. It's pretty attractive. I like that. So let's get back to the Ray Kelly. Very hard to criticize the DA in Worcesterhoff case. Many are afraid to do that. I'm not. Guys, I'm going to get back to the Idaho quadruple case with Bryan Kohberger. One of the talking heads on Banfield the other night, he referred to him as the evil doer. And he just doesn't want to say the guy's name. That's fine. I'm going to say his name. I mean, it doesn't, he's infamous. Again, people always, Canadian Cookie, member for 1 month. Thank you so much for joining our YouTube channel. Always enjoy a little Bill on the beach. That's great. Bill on the beach, bitchin' with Bill, beachin' with Bill. I like that. I like to be the positive. Beachin's probably more positive than bitchin', right? Jamie Pimentel, Mel, no, I'm a Dominican and Ecuadorian. See, Jamie, I know how to pronounce your name, Pimentel, right? I know it. I've seen it before. It's like common names that you see all the time, right? Like even Irish names, you see O'Connor, McCarthy, McGinn, McNulty, you see all these. Cannon is actually Irish, and I think Cannon was initially O'Cannon, and they probably dropped the O somewhere along the way, you know, and it just became canon. And Jamie Pimentel, good to see you, buddy. I'm going fishing now, Bill. Have a great day. Ray Kelly, good luck. I don't know, what are you fishing for, Ray Kelly? What kind of fish are running right now? 194 in the chat, 99 with the thumbs up. Thank you guys for joining me here on Coffee with Cannon. I could see folks are going to be walking by me with their fishing poles. I don't know what they're fishing for either, but they got the fishing poles in the water. Natalie Lintz, any thoughts on the Nicola Bully missing person case? From, you know, I saw someone else on a content creator on YouTube that was covering that case. I know nothing about it right now. I didn't look into it. I'm pretty much focused on, at this point, at the Bryan Kohberger case. I looked a little bit into the Alec Murdoch case. I won't know about fishing until I get out there. Yeah, I like fishing too. I went last year to Isla Morada, and we went for sailfish, which was just incredible in Isla Morada. And another fish that's supposed to be amazingly fun to catch are tarpon. Pound for pound, they're tough as hell. A real good fight, but you can't really eat them, right? Noville 69, thank you so much. Fuzzy Doxy, good to see you, Fuzzy Doxy. Do a live, yeah, I'm gonna do a show on fishing. I think I need a better camera to do that than my cell phone, you know. I think you need a whole crew. There's people actually on YouTube that do shows on fishing, and it always starts with some beautiful girl fishing in a thong bikini, and of course she's going to get 1 million views. You know, I can't do that. Pamela White, thanks for the $2 super chat. Love your pursuit of truth and justice. Thank you, Pamela. Hunter Angler, tarpon get you on a fly rod. People, I don't think a lot of people even know what tarpon are. They're very native to the, you know, Florida, but they're one tough, nasty fish, right, to catch. Lovebug 53, love fishing, so relaxing. You're right. You know something? It's like, where else could you go? What do they say? A bad day fishing is better than a good day at work. So, yeah. Mel Still, I've never been fishing, but I love eating fish. Mel, you got to get someone to take you out there, take you fishing, you know. 2 of the best places to fish in the world. One is Montauk, Long Island, great fishing place, and the other is the Florida Keys. Isla Morada is one, they say. Montauk claims to be the fishing capital of the world, but it's not, I think, in the same league as Isla Morada. Isla Morada is just incredible. Hunter Zangler, tarpon was one of Hemingway's favorite fish, yes, because they're a great fight, right? The canyons on Long Island. Dawn Marie, are you from Long Island originally, Dawn Marie? Jennifer, everyone's giving up my location. I think everyone knows about where I am. Gotta know, Stuart, Florida is sailfish capital. Is that right? I thought it was Isla Morada, but they catch all kinds of fish. K-Me, my friend has 90 acres and a pond, put in a ton of fish and she has turtles, so fun. Magical Mary, I'm late but I'm here. Good to see you, Magical Mary. Roll up to the mystery tour, roll up. And that's an invitation. That reminded me, the Magical Mystery Tour, and that's Magical Mary. Magical Mary's here from the Magical Mystery Tour. Roll up for the mystery tour. Roll up, and that's an invitation. Julie Evans, thank you for the $9.99 chat. Very, very much appreciated. Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann. Come take my hand. I keep a rockin' and a rollin', rockin' and a reelin', Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann. Oh, guys, Barbara Ann, she gets some smiles. Everyone likes to have their name in a song, right? I used to have, there was a lot of songs when I was a kid. Billy, don't be a hero, don't be a fool with your life. I used to hate when people would sing that to me. Or the other one that I had when I was a little kid. Did you make a cherry pie, Billy boy, Billy boy? Could you make a cherry pie, darling Billy? Oh my God, that reduced me to tears when I was in kindergarten. Kids would sing that to me. I hated that. Funny though, right? Funny the things that you remember. Love Bug Bill, I love you so. Thank you so much. Diane Krause, good to see you. Dawn Marie, have you heard from Mark? Yes, Mark, I spoke to him the other day, and he's getting settled in Las Vegas. He had told me that his pod had just arrived, and he's getting settled in. I bet you Las Vegas for him is going to be so much better for comedy than here, because he could perform every single night if he wants to, you know. I'm not saying he will, because it would be exhausting to do that. Love you, Bill. Can you belt out Weekend in New England? I know that song, but I don't know all the words. The song that I remember was such a huge hit for Barry Manilow was I remember all my life raining down as cold as ice, shadows of a man, a face through a window, crying in the night. I never realized how happy you made me, oh Mandy. You came and you gave what I've taken, but I sent you away, oh Mandy. That was a huge hit for Barry Manilow. I went off key a bit for a second, but I got back on it. Billy Joel. Yeah, Billy Joel was supposedly, he went to Hicksville High School. He always claimed that he was from Levittown. And I mean, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. How could you put down Billy Joel? Great, great songwriter, you know. Rambo was real. I love that. I love that one. Rambo was real. Holly Golightly. That's a great name too. 204 in the chat. 136 with the thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. So yeah, I was trying to talk about the Bryan Kohberger case, and we spoke about, you know, what is the defense doing now? How are they creating doubt? What are they investigating? What are they reinvestigating? We spoke, Mike Geary and myself spoke about it the other night, and we actually had a really pretty damn good audience, you know. I think it's got almost 23,000 views in 2 days. Not even 2 days. Yeah, about, you know, 34 hours or whatever. So pretty good, you know, pretty good. And we're still picking up the new memberships and folks joining the Police Off the Cuff family, we like to call it. We're not a nation yet, as one other content creator describes his podcast. I'll consider myself a nation when I have 200,000 subscribers. Right now it's a family, it's not a nation. But podcasters can call their show whatever they want to call it, right? So Sandra Williams, I saw him fishing in the Hamptons, but I also saw him at a bar called My Father's Place. My Father's Place in Roslyn, right, Sandra Williams? I used to go there and see a lot of bands there. Billy Joel, yeah, Billy Joel, I think, is like 74 years old. He's, you know, he's been around. He won't go on tour anymore. You know what his tour is right now? Madison Square Garden. That's the only place he'll play. He plays local, and his fans have to come to him. Yeah, Sandra, yeah, My Father's Place in Roslyn. I used to go there all the time when I was a kid in my early 20s. They had great small venue. You could see a band there, and just fantastic. Zin Bootsy, Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs. There's any Long Islanders out there that used to like the Good Rats? Do you guys remember the Good Rats? Pepe Marcello and his brother. They were pretty popular. They almost made it semi-big. You know, they were like a warm-up act for a lot of big bands. They went on tour with a lot of the big bands. But they were another Long Island band. But there was some other Long Island bands that almost made it pretty big. Jennifer, sorry, Bill, what do you think about the balloon? I think that I can't believe they didn't blow it out of the sky as soon as they became aware of it. I think that was, and I know all the excuses they make. Oh, we didn't want it to this, and we don't. There's so many lies that you don't even know what your government is doing. But when a foreign government puts a spy balloon over your country, I think that's a reason to get excited. You know, a reason to take action immediatamente, as they say, as our Spanish friends say. You know, immediately. You don't wait. And Mel Stiller, same here, Sergeant Bill. KB, well, are you surprised by what this administration does? No. Zen Bootsy, Bob Dylan is my man. You ever see the Bob Dylan interview with 60 Minutes? Ed Bradley interviewed him, and he told. Someone said Billy Joel's 73. I missed by 1 year. Sorry, I missed his last birthday. Yeah, so Bob Dylan was interviewed by Ed Bradley, and he started talking about some of the songs he wrote, and he says, those were magical. He goes, I could never write that today. He goes, there was some kind of magic involved in that, in writing that song. And I may have to move pretty soon because it's starting to rain. You guys don't care if I get wet, right? But yeah, it's starting to rain a little bit. If it holds off, I'll hang out here. 211 in the chat, 150 with the thumbs up. Magical Mary saw the Jets here. Saw the Jets. Yeah, I think I may start to take a slow walk because I feel the wind picking up too. And the next thing it'll be is lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, lions and tigers and bears. So I think I'm going to take a slow walk back to my car in case it starts really, really raining. So, Mary Michael, yes, Sergeant Bill, a spy balloon is a real call to action. It's not a call to nap. Sheesh, you're right. You're 100% right. You know, look, all of us guys, all of us New York coppers that you see in the chat here and you see that doing these podcasts, we're all 9/11 first responders. So we understand how, you know, when your country gets attacked, how you have to respond immediately, not, you know, wait and show any weakness whatsoever. You must respond. The rain's starting to come down, guys. So I got to get back to my car. Well, they say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Well, where's this rain coming from? Oh, you know something? I'm doing something really stupid. You ever forget where you put your car? You just turned around. It was in the opposite direction than I thought it was. Now, in this day and age, at least we have GPS where we can find our car with our phone, right? It's like losing your dog. Except you ever park your car in the city and forget what block you put it on? Whenever I park my car in the city on the street, I always take a picture of the address that it's parked adjacent to. so I won't lose my car, you know, but it was good while it lasted, being outside, but it's time to go inside. So, okay. There we go. All right, I'm inside the car now. I feel like Duty Ron, you know. Duty Ron's always shooting from inside his car. Isn't that correct? So, 219 in the chat, 162 with the thumbs up, and my glasses are all fogged up now. But that's okay. Sunday, February 5th, police off the cuff, real crime stories. Backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, coffee with Cannon. Thank you for joining me, you guys. Thank you for giving me part of your Sunday. Has everyone been to church today? You don't have to testify to me. Or what was that? Used to go to confession as a kid, right? And when it came to time, when I got old enough where I used to cut out of church, and I don't like to admit this, I know there's some people that will think this is terrible. My mother was a really hardcore Catholic. We had to go to church every Sunday. So we would go by ourselves, and instead of going to church, I would go to Dunkin' Donuts and have a glazed donut and a cup of coffee, and I had to kill, 45 minutes to an hour. And then my mother would always ask me to grill us to see if we were really at church. She would say, "What was the gospel about?" And I would be like baffled, and my older brother would say, all about God, Mom, all about God. And my mother knew at that point my brother was lying and we weren't going to church. We were, in fact, going to Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. Magical Mary had some Dunkin' Donuts this morning. Some of you guys think that story's funny. I always think that story's funny. But my mother, I had to fake out Mass for years. And then finally I said, Mom, I'm not going anymore. All right? I'm just not going. And she got mad. Because she was always like, my mother was so hardcore Catholic, you know. Oh, you got a problem? Talk to a priest. Ma, that's the last person on earth I'm going to talk to is a priest about my problems, you know. I got to go. I got to know. I got to know. Got to go. Bye-bye. See you later. Good to see you. Erica Olson, hey, Jesus never went to church either. Scott, Kitty Mom with the thumbs up. Some of you guys probably did the same thing. If you were Long Islanders, you probably did the same thing that I did, you know. You had to fake that you went to church if you had a mom who was extremely religious, you know. But so we got off the subject again. I keep getting off the subject. So what I was going to talk about, you know, if I do a show later on, is what PJ the Boss, in your street days, ever have fun in the Spanish Ray, my mom's husband? You know, I've heard of Spanish Raymond, but I think that was a little bit before my time. He was a big time drug dealer up in Harlem. But I think that, you know, who would know that? Lieutenant Peter Pranzo. He would absolutely know that because he goes back a little further than me. He would probably know of Spanish Raymond because Lieutenant Pete was... he was a Harlem legend, you know, and I'm sure he was in the chat before. I don't see him right now, but he would absolutely know about Spanish Raymond. And I've heard about Spanish Raymond before. It was after my time. But Lieutenant Pete, you listening? Did you know of Spanish Raymond, who was the infamous drug dealer in Harlem? He's on the air. Confession on days of obligation only. That was another thing I didn't like. I don't want to talk about religion because some people are going to get offended, but I'm just saying as it pertains to me. I didn't really like going to confession. I felt that confession, you could confess directly to God, like you didn't need an intermediary, which in this case would be the priest that you would confess your sins to. Diana McGinn, good to see you, Sergeant Cannon. You too, Diana. Thank you so much for joining us. Does anyone else feel that way? I mean, if you want to confess your sins, you confess them right to God, and you don't really need an intermediary. I always thought that confession was a lot impersonal and intrusive. I thought, you know, I really thought intrusive. So, if any of you guys here that are not Catholic, probably you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but. That was just my feelings. Boxing MMA, he agrees with me. He doesn't need an intermediary. He doesn't need a middleman, you know. You go right to the big guy. I'm going to talk right to the big guy today, you know. Oh, my God. These bring back memories, not necessarily good ones either, you know. Like, what is a sin? What's not a sin, you know? And if you're online to go to confession and you spend like 15 minutes in there, 20 minutes, people outside are waiting online are like, what the hell did this guy do? Everyone assumes, oh my God, he's been in there for 15 minutes. He must have did something really horrible, you know? So in that way, it was also impersonal. It's a sign, Zin Butzi. It's there's so much funny things about religion and everything. Everything has a lot of funniness to it. I remember when I used to Tembo, we had this Monsignor used to come in. I think he came in every Friday and Sunday night. He came in, and he was the pastor of a church up on the Upper West Side. I'm not going to say his name, but he used to drink Jack Daniels, and he would drink 4 Jack Daniels on the rocks. And as he started down in those Jack Daniels, he would get, his eyes would become very teary. I don't know, that's just what the booze did to his eyes, you know. And I remember sometimes when he would be walking out of the bar that I worked at, a famous bar in Gramercy Park. People would, some would take umbrage that he actually came into a bar and ate and drank at a restaurant, and like he would take no shit from them. People would say, "What are you doing here? Do you think it's proper for you to be in here with your collar?" And he would just let them have it. Like, "You're such a silly ass," or something like that. He would say to them, and I would be like, "Oh, Monsignor," and Monsignor is the big boss man in the church. And Monsignor stands for my Lord, so it's a heavy duty title. Holly Golightly, I went to the Catholic Church to light a candle. It had an out of order sign. That's funny, Cindy. You should write some jokes. That's great. That's a funny joke. I went to the Catholic Church to light a candle and it had an out of order sign. So does that mean the person you were praying for, tough luck that week? You know, you can build up on top of that joke. That's pretty good. If I was still doing comedy, I would probably take that premise and, you know, and build upon it and make it funny, you know. And even the priests write their own jokes too. They have their own like religious jokes, you know. Funny, right? I don't know if it's funny, but they do. And just like bartenders have bartender jokes and cops have cop jokes, right? Everyone has jokes according to where they live, where they're from, you know, things like that. Crazy. Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Beaching with Bill, Bitching with Bill. If you're not subscribed to us, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell and become a member. It's free to become a member. Become a member of the Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories, family, friends, subs, fans, right? Mel Stiller, one of my uncles was a priest, a really good one. It's tough for churches and other religions to get clergy these days. It's a tough life, you know, and especially the Catholic Church. No one wants to be celibate, and I think that's one of the reasons they have such a hard time to get people to become priests and nuns and all of that stuff, you know. So, Dawn Marie, you're the best, Dawn Marie. Thank you. Everyone have a great Sunday, Dawn Marie is wishing for everyone. Eric Olson, my grandmother was Catholic. Her Aunt Kate in Ireland had 4 brothers. All 4 of the brothers were priests. Wow. You know, my mother used to actually get sad that because there was 5 boys in my family and three girls. My mother would actually get sad that none of us became priests. That's how crazy she was about it. And I was like, Ma, are you kidding me? No, Rich Borgia, I'm doing a shoot for New York Homicide this Tuesday in Fort Lauderdale. And it's an old case from the 2-3 Detective Squad from, I remember the date, December 1st, 2001. So New York Homicide is doing that case. I won't tell you any more about the case, but I shoot it on Tuesday afternoon in Fort Lauderdale. They tried to get me to fly home, and I was like, I'm not flying home for this. You really want me? Bring it to Florida. They did. So I've done you know, these talking head shows with these homicide shows before. If you guys ever go on the site, or you could Google The Perfect Murder, I did 6 of those. I did 6 episodes of The Perfect Murder. I think 4 I played the lead detective or a detective. There was 2 detectives always in the show, and I was either the lead or the second one. And 2 of them I was a talking head. Joe Murray, I came the closest in my family of 6 kids. 3 of us were altar boys. Could you imagine Joe Murray being an altar boy? That sweet little face, and telling you something against what you believe just so he could create the argument he will use years later as an attorney. Joe Murray, altar boy. Wow, that's amazing. I could see Joe being an altar boy. You know, my mother sent myself and my other brother, my older brother, to become altar boys. And when I don't want to do something, I almost like refuse to learn it. And I refused because I just didn't want to learn it. I just didn't want to do it. So I played dumb, and I never learned when to ring the bells, when to do this, when to bring that. And I never wound up serving in a mass. I think my brother, Joe Murray, I was an undefeated prosecutor in The Perfect Murder for 4 years. That's right. Joe Murray was in a bunch of the episodes that I was in also, but I never got to see him when we were shooting because he was always the last things they shot, because it was during the end of the show. So I never really got to see Joe Murray on the set of The Perfect Murder. But strange too, because that show, The Perfect Murder, it ran for like 6 years, and they canceled it, and it was averaging 1.3 or 1.4 million viewers an episode, and it still got canceled. So crazy, you know. Kim Allison, Sergeant Bill, make me laugh. Faith cannot be forced. God's love is gentle. That's true. But my mother thought she could force us to do things like to be altar boys, and I wasn't learning it. I wasn't going to do it, you know. I had a hard enough time memorizing the prayers, you know, never mind knowing when to ring the bells and when to bring the wine up and to do all of that other stuff. So, but Joe Murray, he learned all of that stuff, and later on he used that same memorization techniques to become an attorney, right? And a boxer, and a heavyweight boxer for the PBA, you know. How did this Coffee with Cannon become just about having you watching the detectives years ago, Rick Borgia? Yes, I watched some of those episodes. I think that were the same. It was Rick Torelli and Kevin Kaufman. I think they did that one too, watching the detectives. This new show, that the one on New York Homicide, they have former chief of detectives Robert Boyce is one of the producers on that. So they're always looking for new cases, you know, because there's so many of these shows on television that are doing these homicide recreation shows. And I think The Perfect Murder did a pretty good job at it. Rick Torelli, one of the producers, was a retired homicide detective from Manhattan South Homicide. Calm Bill, The Perfect Murder, I think you could either find them on IMDb, The Perfect Murder, or just Google or on YouTube, search The Perfect Murder, and the episodes will come up. Some of them, I think you could, you know, the weird thing is, you actually pay $1 and you get to watch the show. If you try to watch it for free, they play it at the wrong speed, and everyone sounds like, you know, like Munchkins talking, you know, because it's played. Joe Murray, thanks, Lorraine. I even campaigned on my undefeated record in homicide on The Perfect Murder. Yeah, Joe Murray. You know, it's a funny thing how you run into people. You know, you guys know, I'm down here in Florida, and someone that I met from the job down here told me, "Oh, there's a guy who lives in my complex, and he says he knows you." And I said, "Oh, really? What's his name?" Because you got to realize, at any time on the NYPD, there was 35,000, 40,000. One time, I think there was 42,000 uniformed members of the service. So the chance that you know someone, it happens, but it's not, you know, it's not a given. And he says, it's the guy's name. I go, "Oh, I love that guy. I worked with him." And so I knew him, you know. And he goes, "Yeah." He says he knows you. I said, "Oh, we got to all get together, go out to dinner," you know. It's so nice to me, anyway, that I like being around cops. I like other cops. It's not that I can only hang out with other cops. Most of my friends that I grew up with obviously are not cops, but I sort of like to be in the company of them. And, you know, there's a safety to it. There's not just feeling safe, but feeling like comfortable, that you all have something in common, you know. Scott says half of the Orlando area are retired cops. Probably half of Florida these days. Everyone's fleeing New York these days because of the the nuts that run the government there, going from the governor right to the mayor. These people, and the city council in New York is out of control. Did you just hear that one of the Central Park Five wants to run for the city council? I just can't take it. You know, the city council, they're the ones that gave us the bail reform that is just that's destroying New York City. You know, and some of the rules that came with the bail reform, like the new discovery laws, where the prosecution has to hand over discovery within 15 days, which has caused, I believe it's 80% of all misdemeanor cases to be thrown out because they can't comply with the 15-day discovery. So, you know, everyone's fleeing New York because of these nutcases. And you include Governor Hochul, who's a nutcase. And then we have Eric Adams, who was a police captain who never did police work. He was an activist, believe it or not, when he was a cop. And but to tell you the truth, he's the best ally that NYPD has right now. You know, and if you would have, you folks from outside of New York, if you would have saw the 10 people who were vying for the Democratic nomination for mayor, it was like Adams was the least offensive. The other 9 were just like Mao Zedong, you know, all way further to the left than you could even imagine, you know. So yeah, just so crazy. And that's New York City now, you know. How can capitalism work when the government allows people to go into stores and steal with no teeth in the law? They won't get arrested. If they do get arrested, they let them go right away and they don't prosecute them. The cases get thrown out. Doesn't that give perps permission to steal? I mean, it's pathetic, right? I feel like I'm getting on my soapbox, and I don't always like to. I get into a rant, and I start ranting, and I should call it ranting with Bill. There's another name, ranting. My wife always says that. Stop ranting. All you ever do, you love to rant. You love to rant. You're right. I do love to rant. And if you keep talking like that, I'm going to rant. You know, Sergeant Bill, we want to talk about Alex Murdaugh. I don't think there's any doubt that Alex Murdaugh is getting convicted. You know, the evidence they're presenting against that guy, it's so powerful. It's like, Love Bug, love ranting with you, Bill. Good, Love Bug. I should do a session where I let you guys rant. You know, rant about the things. Dawn Marie is LMAO. I love that. Love the ranting too. Fuzzy Doxy, me too, Bill. I can get on a rant for yeah, me too. I just start to rant and I can't stop. And then my wife always stops me. All right, stop ranting. Will you stop ranting? No, I like it. You know, it's what keeps me alive. 264 in the chat, 227 thumbs up. I want to thank everyone for coming by today. I know I didn't really talk about Ocean Girl 505. I know I didn't really talk about the case, the Bryan Kohberger case, as much as I should have. But I get on other topics with this Coffee with Cannon thing. I like the different format, you know. Like I can just talk to you guys. I don't have to. Martha Miner. I'll take a look at that, but I don't, you know, someone else covered that I saw, and these missing person cases they really get crazy, you know. We just had the one in Boston, Miss Walsh, who was murdered by her husband, and horrific, and they really never found her body, you know. Just those cases are just horrible. But Gone with the Gale. Guys, you know, I'm at 49 minutes and 30 seconds now. So I got to prepare to say goodbye to everyone. I just want to thank everyone for coming by today. It went so fast. I was like, now the sun's out again. But it's too late. 15 minutes almost went by. So I just want to say, possibly I might come on the air later on. I'm not sure. I got to really look into what we could possibly talk about in regards to the Bryan Kohberger case. I think we could talk about the about the prosecution and how they're preparing for this, because at the same time, the defense is taking 6 months to prepare. The prosecution is not going to sit on their hands. Guys, thank you so much for coming by today. Have a great day, and God bless.